How to compost dog poop. Many people are familiar with composting as a way to reduce yard waste while creating an important product for gardening. However, many people believe that it's a dangerous thing to compost dog poop or waste. This is not the case. It has been found that as long as certain precautions are followed, dog poop can be composted successfully and safely. Part 1. Preparing to compost. 1. Decide to start composting. Simply put, composting is the process of taking organic, living or once living material, and breaking it down into a nutrient-rich soil additive. This great soil additive has valuable nutrients that help plants to grow. When composting, you take a natural process and speed it up by using heat, aeration, adding oxygen and moisture. Bacteria, fungi, molds, earthworms, insects, and other soil organisms break the compost materials down into a useful material. Compost consists of both dry and moist materials. The moist materials are those that have a high nitrogen content, like manure, food waste, or grass clippings, and dry materials are materials that have a high carbon content, like dried leaves, straw, or sawdust. These items need to be mixed in a specific ratio in order to make good compost. 2. Gather materials. You will need a container to keep your compost in. This can be a commercial compost bin or simply bricks or concrete blocks to contain the pile. You will also need a shovel or garden spade, a long-stem thermometer, which can be found at hardware stores, a carbon source, such as sawdust, and access to a hose or watering can. 3. Create an area where you will compost. It would be best to use a far corner of your yard to keep it out of the way of animals or children. You will need a yard site that is at least 3 feet by 3 feet. If you are building your own compost container, use the bricks or concrete blocks to outline the area you've chosen. Make sure it isn't under building eaves, where a lot of water could run into it. Part 2. Building a compost pile. 1. Layer the compost pile. Place a 3-inch layer of sawdust on the bottom of the area. Next, put in the dog poop. Then place a 1-inch layer of sawdust over the dog poop, along with a shovelful of dirt. Mix this together and cover with another layer of sawdust. You will have to use your judgment, but the correct ratio is 2 parts dog poop to 1 part sawdust. 2. Sprinkle the pile with water until the first layer is moistened. Do not soak it totally, but the pile needs to be moist. The organisms that break down the dog poop need moisture to function. Then put the thermometer deep into the pile, making sure not to go into the ground. Record the temperature on your calendar. 3. Care for your compost pile weekly. You will need to take your shovel or spade and turn the pile, mix it up, once a week. This will assure that it is properly aerated and that all the material is decomposing evenly. Also take weekly temperature readings, before turning, and record. The target number is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This will generally be reached in 4-8 weeks, when the waste and sawdust has turned into a material that looks much like soil. 4. Use the compost appropriately.